shop tour. Hey y'all, welcome back. You're thinking, wait, you're not in the shop. You're right, I'm not in the shop. I'm multitasking. Yep, that's just the way it's gotta be sometimes. I only have 24 hours a day and I can't stay up all 24 hours. And sometimes I have streaks and runs where I really push the number of hours that I can sleep to the absolute minimum. And it's kind of caught up to me because I've been doing a lot of that. But right now I'm on my way to an important benefit for my wife's father, who's been battling cancer for some time. But we're just thankful for the time that we do have with him. We're just praying that he'll be cured of this and that we'll get many more years with him. But no matter what may come, all will be well. But anyway, it's gonna be like this and we'll be in the shop. I might be shooting that in the wee hours of the morning, so at least we've got something for you guys to hold that Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday schedule. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you well, it's not the wee hours of the morning, but it is the end of the day. So let's get to the shop tour. All right, it's late and getting later, so this is gonna be kind of quick, but my first stop, the first tool that I want to show you guys is, this is my certi-flat fab table. There's a DIY kit, put it together yourself. It is flat, it is true, it's square. I don't know how else you can put it. The thing that makes these things great is all these holes that are in this table. They're all square. So you can get, by default, you can get 90s and 45s, which is great for when you're trying to jig up and make things like this rail. Even bending these little horizontal spindles, I was able to use this table to get the repeatability that I wanted, just by dropping a couple of fasteners in here as stops and using a couple of clamps, like this clamp right here. They're just simple clamps that hold everything balanced the table. There's all sorts of accessories that come with this thing, like these 90-degree brackets that can be bolted to the side, they can be bolted to the top of the table. Then over here, I've got my Premier Plasma 5x10 CNC table. Up here is the control unit. There is the Hypertherm 45 amp plasma cutter, and obviously the computer screen that you draw things up on to make parts like those that have been cut out. The Premier Plasma table was a game changer, along with this certi-flat welding table. Game changer, that's all I can say about that. And over here, we got a finger brake. We use it for bending all sorts of things. Sheet metal things, like the shrouds on these dream boxes. And right over here, I've got my homemade press brake. It works pretty well considering. It's got a swag brake kit, part of it, actually just the bar. The rest of it was stuff that I had made. Then here I've got my faithful JD squared tubing bender that I use for bending things like the tube work on my old Tornator, Old Faithful. And right behind me, right here, is my, probably my most questionable tool purchase that I've probably ever made. I'm still trying to figure out where it is actually truly useful in my world. Takes off light rust, right? Rust lightly. It doesn't make a mess like a media blaster. So I'm thinking that it's going to be great for stripping the rust off of sheet metal in an automotive application, where say like we're inside a floor pan, we just need to clean up a little area. We don't want blasting media all over the cab. I think this is where this is going to shine. Or like or like on my fab table, where I get flash rust because we're in the Rust West, the Midwest, whatever you want to call it, the land of 10,000 taxes, the land of everything's rusty. So I think this has got its place. We're just trying to figure it out. The company is great to work with. Then behind me, I have two lifts. One is by a company called Advantage, the other one is a company called Rotary. That Rotary lift has been bulletproof. It is quite the tough unit. This one, I haven't had it as long. It's okay. It was cheap. It was a good deal, I guess, so to speak. Not a whole lot of money, but the best thing about that lift is that it is wide. So I can get in and out of a full-size truck very easily without having to hold my breath and slide out. And back in the southwest corner of my building, I've got a hydraulic press. I use it to make in-shape sheet metal parts, such as this. This was a riser for a staircase stringer that I made. Made this stamping tool to make that riser. So I use this thing for shaping. I sometimes will do dimple dies, or then there's just the mechanical things like pressing bearings off of shafts or ball joints out of steering knuckles. Things like that. Handy, handy, handy. 20 ton, nothing special. I don't even know the brand necessarily. And I got my old cheap drill press. I think we're gonna replace this guy at some point here in the near future-ish future, I hope, with a nice Bridgeport. And then behind me, I've got my little old Atlas lathe, 38, I don't know. It's old. It works. I use it for simple things. Like for example, I had to cut these nuts down. Why? Because I didn't have time to order new ones and get a crawler out of the way, my 400 project. So it works handy for things like that. Or small boring, shaving, truing, whatever you want to call it. Works great. Handy. But once again, that's another tool that I would like to upgrade once I have a little more time and a little more money. I'll go after something bigger though. I got a Lincoln TIG 200 square wave TIG machine. You can do stick welding with it as well. I got this little 110 volt weld mark. I run it on Stargon gas for when I'm doing sheet metal work, because Stargon doesn't burn in as hot as CO2. And then over here, I've got my main welding machine. It's a Miller 212 that I've had for years. It's been a great machine. I primarily run it off of CO2. And then I've got a bottle of Star Gold for aluminum welding. It's a little tricky to figure out if you're used to having digital readouts, like how, that's how I learned. I learned on a machine where you could get the digital readout for your actual, for your voltage, whether you're going for 17.1 or 17.3, and then X amount of IPM per minute. This just has gauges that just say some sort of thickness and numbers. I don't know, trial and error. I'm a welder, fabricator. Just show me the volts, show me the inches per minute. Oh, before I forget, I've got this little handy dandy crane that I use to pick my sheet steel up and swing it around and set it on the plasma table. It truly beats the snot out of having to use a skid loader or a forklift just to get a piece of steel in an already crowded shop. Okay, you might be asking, wait, do you have an air compressor? Well, yes, I do. It's over my other building. I've got a line that comes into this building and just runs to various drops, hose reels, and it is such a wonderful thing to have your air compressor over in another building, because you never have to have it kick on. And when you're trying to shoot videos, your air compressor is kicking on at random, and you're not good at doing retakes because the first time is usually the better time, that air compressor in the other building. And because I've got a line running underground with no way to drain any moisture that could get in there, I've got an Ingersoll Rand refrigerated air dryer plumbed in, so that I always have dry air for the plasma table and paint guns and other tools that may get ran off of the compressor. So there you have it, folks. If you like this, thanks for bearing with me. Just kind of ran out of time. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But I do appreciate you watching it, especially if you watch this thing all the way through. If you do, please smash the like button. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, adventure on.